Hello, everyone. My name is Melinda Bowen, and I am the Executive Director of the Utah Center for Legal Inclusion, or UCLI, as we call ourselves. I'm really grateful to be here giving this virtual training and recording this training. So thank you all for taking the time to watch and prepare for the program. And also, more than anything, thank you so much for agreeing to be a mentor in this program. We really couldn't start this program or help our law students in the way that we hope to without each of you. And so we're really grateful for your time and your commitment to be a resource for our local law students in a way that we hope will be really beneficial. I want to start out by giving just a brief overview of the program, and then we'll get into some of the specifics of the program, and then wrap it up with some concepts and ideas about what it takes to be a good mentor. And those are based on the research that we've conducted at UCLI. So to start out, I want to note that this program has actually been in existence for many years. This is a program that was started by then attorney Cecilia Romero, now Judge Romero. When she was an attorney at Holland and Hart, Judge Romero began a partnership with the Utah Minority Bar Association, in which Holland and Hart attorneys volunteered to serve as mentors for each student who received a scholarship from UMBA each fall. And so as part of the scholarship, UMBA students were awarded a mentor as well, and the opportunity to be paired with a mentor. This program has continued since its inception in, I believe, 2012, and so has been around for nearly 10 years. And we really want to credit Holland and Hart for their long-term investment in the program, and now for allowing UCLI to collaborate with them to expand the program so that we can include more attorneys and more students and really expand the reach of what is already a really great program. UCLI has made an effort to do exactly that and to add a few features based on the research that we hope will be really beneficial to the students who are involved. I also want to note that the program has a few specific objectives. And those objectives include helping our students to create community, build professional skills, and explore options and career paths. And so we really hope that as we're going through this program, all of the things we do kind of get at those three overarching goals and help the students in ways that are really tangible and useful for each individual student as they progress along the path and hopefully stay with us here in Utah in the legal profession. So with those goals in mind, let's talk a little bit about the program itself. So we have a few steps here listed on this slide, starting with intake and then all the way through assessment. But let's start at the beginning. So intake. If you have not done so already, please complete the enrollment form. It's a Google form that should have been emailed to you. If you did not receive that email, please reach out to me. My email will be at the end of the training. But we need the enrollment forms to be completed to be able to gather some initial information that will inform the pairing that happens. And so we'll ask each of you to please go ahead and complete that enrollment form if you haven't already done so. We also ask that you download an app, and Casey Sorensen, our director over our program, will be sending an email with instructions on the app, and it's called the Cooper app, which is mentioned here on the slide as well. And it's a mentoring and learning platform that's really going to facilitate our efforts with this program specifically. So once we've collected all of the information in those intake forms, and I will note that we've already collected all of the information for students, and they're waiting and ready to be paired with each of you. So the pairings will be made using the Cooper platform. And we use a variety of criteria that we collect in those enrollment forms, including specific interests, demographic information, goals, priorities, personality even. And always keeping in mind that these criteria have been shown if we kind of take a more holistic approach and try to consider as many of these factors as possible. The research shows that that is actually a really helpful way to create a mentoring relationship that will prove to be beneficial. Attorneys who are serving as mentors and student mentees will all have access to Cooper, And the Cooper platform not only facilitates the pairing process, but it also provides a volume of resources and the ability to connect through the website or the app, depending on whichever platform or device you end up using. But hopefully you can use it anywhere you are and to use it to gather resources that'll be helpful to you as you move forward. This program differs slightly from the Holland and Hart program in that we have decided to pair each student with 2 mentors at a time, one attorney who is newer to the profession and one more experienced or senior attorney. This is, again, I know that I've been saying this a lot, but this is also based on research and best practices that have been proven through different other programs around the country. Most often the pairings of attorneys will be with attorneys from the same firm or the same office, but there may be exceptions in cases where individual attorneys are volunteering independent of their firm or where other factors come into play to suggest that a different pairing will happen. But just to reiterate, or to give an example, well, we may have one student who is with an associate and a partner from Holland and Hart, and they will be paired together based on the enrollment information that we have. The duration of each pairing will be 6 months, a bit shorter this year because we're starting in March rather than January. But the duration of each pairing will last during that time. And then the students will actually have the opportunity to rotate to a new mentor team. We hope, of course, that the mentors and mentees will stay in touch long-term and continue to foster those relationships even after their formal pairings have ended. But we do also want to accomplish the goal of helping the students to really build a strong and robust network before they even enter the legal profession. So they come into their careers feel with a sense of community and a sense of belonging that is already there from the outset. Throughout this process, UCLI will host group events. So on the meeting and mentoring front, which is number 3 on the slide, we will host group events for all mentors and mentees every few months. The first will be our opening social, which will be held on Thursday, March 4th at 4:30 p.m. via Zoom. If you should have received a link to join this meeting, if you did not, please reach out to us for sure. In between these larger group meetings, mentors should meet with their mentee at least monthly. And these meetings can take any form that makes sense for your team. You can meet virtually, by phone call. If you are feeling comfortable and able to, you can set up a lunch meeting and UCLI will cover the costs of any of those lunch meetings that you set up with your mentee. It could be an opportunity to observe a court proceeding, as much as those are happening currently, or to observe a deposition or something else that may be useful to the student who is assigned to you. We hope that during the course of the mentoring relationship, you will have the opportunity to meet your mentee in person at least once, as long as health and safety conditions allow. But I do think we should embrace the opportunity to at least connect virtually during that time. UCLI during this time will also provide resources each month and will send a monthly email with those resources, which can be used as a jumping off point for discussion in your monthly meetings or not, because these really are suggestions only. And we highly encourage each mentor team to individualize and consider unique opportunities for your assigned student based on what he or she wants and needs to progress and to learn and to grow. We, again, will have those group meetings every few months, and at those group meetings, we will host a speaker or have a panel, perhaps of attorney mentors who can talk about different professional skills that we all could benefit from learning and improving. The final prong of our program is assessment. And we are really focusing on gathering data and gathering information at UCLI so that we can make informed decisions about best practices and best practices specific to Utah and to our specific students here. So to that end, we will be sending feedback forms to everyone, but particularly the students on a regular basis to get feedback and make timely adjustments as we can. But in addition to those feedback forms, we always welcome you reaching out and making contact with us. And in fact, please do so if you have concerns or questions. We want to be able to answer those in real time and be a helpful resource. And we at UCLI do have staff support specifically for this program. And I think that's one of the big benefits that we hope you all will take advantage of and utilize us in the ways that we can be useful. Okay, with that program overview in mind, I should note here again at the end, I will post a slide with my contact information and the contact information for our program coordinator, Casey Sorensen, but please utilize those and reach out. Okay, thinking about all of that, there's a lot of information out there about how to be a good mentor. And we'll be using this acronym from a training that was given by the ABA and some attorneys who specialize in mentoring diverse students in particular. And I think it provides some best practices for mentoring programs and for individual mentors. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list, and there's a lot of other intangibles, but I think this provides a good starting point for us to think about what we need to be considering as mentors and for our program as a whole. So our program incorporates features that are based on some of these principles, and we share these with you to be successful in your individual relationships. So first of all, M. M stands for management. Good mentoring requires intentionality and deliberate choices. We've made many of those choices in designing the program, including the requirements of monthly meetings and group meetings and things like that. But as you interact with your mentee, please be intentional about how you approach the relationship. Although students may initially be hesitant and nervous about, conversations and responding because of power dynamics, we hope during the opening social, you get a chance to sit down with your students or student mentee and talk through, or meet them first of all, but also talk through their specific goals for the program. In other words, does your mentee want to explore different career options because he or she doesn't know what they'd like to do? Or does she need help with a very specific career path that she has in mind? Does she have questions about interviewing and other pre-job skills, or does he have specific questions about different types of practice or different law firms and their cultures and things like that? So we're hopeful at the opening social we can set that intentionality and management expectation early on to be able to set the program up for success and really be individualized in the approach that we take. Okay. Second, we have E for education. This starts right now, of course, with this training, and the Cooper platform will facilitate several different learning opportunities for all of us. But for each of you as individual mentors, one of the key features of any mentor relationship is the act of the mentor not only educating themselves on best practices for mentors, but of course sharing and educating their mentee, sharing those experiences, and the knowledge that you've gained during the course of your career. So we encourage you to don't be shy about giving that education in the way that is necessary for your mentee to help them build competencies and skill sets. And please don't hesitate. I think there are often times where mentors hesitate to be open and candid with their mentee. And of course, we should do so. We should communicate in tactful and respectful ways. But a big part of this program and any good mentoring program is to actually provide constructive feedback and help to our students and those that we're mentoring. So please take on that role as educator and help the students in the ways that you can based on your experience. Okay, the third letter is N for networking. This is a particularly critical component of mentoring for diverse students, which is our target audience. Of course, we include all students in this program for UCLI, but we are particularly hoping that we can provide some resources for those who come from underrepresented backgrounds. Although our students will have the opportunity to meet many different attorneys through the rotation system in this program. And that's an element that's baked in to provide networking and community building opportunities. We ask you each as mentors to please be mindful and consider ways that you might make introductions to others outside the program. If you are meeting with a judge, or you have other attorneys in your office who work in the areas where your students have interest, please feel free to make those introductions and help your mentees build that robust network that will be really critical to their success in the profession. If nothing else, I think one of the key takeaways from this program, we hope, will be a reminder to students that the law really is a relationship-based profession, and they've started to build those relationships already, and hopefully that will continue and we can facilitate some of that as well. Okay, the fourth letter here is T for time. There's not much to this other than the idea that relationships require quality time to be meaningful. So for mentoring in particular, there needs to be a climate of trust, which also takes time. So please dedicate some time to this and be willing to sit with your student and get to know them. Okay, O is for opportunity. So mentoring programs are, in addition to providing networking chances, are also supposed to provide opportunities for growth for the mentees, including those opportunities to learn, to gain exposure to unfamiliar concepts or aspects of the practice, opportunities to fail safely, right? And opportunities to be successful. So on the note of failing safely, one of the pieces of research that I think is particularly helpful, again, this goes back to constructive feedback, but if we can provide a place where students can talk through potential mistakes that they've made or discuss their ideas, and you can tell them, no, that's a mistake, don't do it that way, you should consider doing it this way instead, then we provide the opportunity for students to make small mistakes in a controlled context so they don't make larger ones later on that might be more significant to their careers. And also, again, please consider the opportunities tailored to your particular mentee that may be most helpful to him or her. Okay, final letter is respect, or R for respect. Mentoring relationships will not work without mutual respect. The relationship has to be a safe space where mentors and mentees can be honest and candid and really vulnerable sometimes and confidential. So please keep your mentees' confidences that they share with you, please keep those in confidence. And remember that mistakes will be made on both sides, and we can address those with respect in the ways that we need to. And if there is respect, we can deal with those mistakes and move forward. On that note of respect, if you feel like your mentee has not been respectful to you, maybe he or she has not responded to your emails or your other efforts to contact them, or he or she has done something else that's disrespectful, please let us know. I mean, of course, feel free to address it head on, but we'd also like to know that at UCLI so we can address it from an institutional standpoint as well. Okay, so that's our MENTOR acronym, and we hope those provide some helpful insights into good mentoring practices. Finally, we just want to reiterate the UCLI team is here to help. Please reach out to us with any questions or concerns. Our contact information is here. If there seems to be a breakdown in any of the areas that we've talked about, please let us know. If issues arise, please contact us early and often. And of course, we just want to reiterate, excuse me, sorry, my son just came in. I apologize for that. We just want to reiterate again our thanks for you serving as a mentor. We all need mentors at every stage of our lives. So UCLI hopes to help in this particular segment where students can use some extra help. And so thank you for being part of that effort. We really appreciate it.